Shady sheriff in Maine sells guns from evidence lockup. In a lot of places, it's standard procedure for law enforcement agencies to sell guns that are in their evidence lockers. Not all of them, mind you. Guns that were reported stolen are generally returned to their owners, for example, but those who are unaccounted for and aren't needed for trial are sold. And a lot of times they'll just sell it. If they don't destroy it, they'll just sell it to somebody else. They'll fund their cars, their gear, and all this other kind of stuff. That's not what happens everywhere, though, and even when it does, these agencies have rules about accounting the money. But a sheriff in Maine is in hot water because he decided that he did everything wrong when he sold the guns. So the sheriff in Maine directed his detectives to complete an unusual task, gather guns from the officer's evidence room to be sold. Of course, the detectives did as they were ordered. On June 8, 2021, Detective Michael Hansey emailed the sheriffs a list of guns he confirmed were not stolen. It wasn't enough. Oxford County Sheriff Christopher Wainwright told Hallacy to collect more guns from evidence for the sale, including a Walther PP9, according to internal sheriff's office reports. It had a well-documented history. Instead of asking Hallacy to try and return it, Wainwright sold it and dozens of other guns in a deal that has avoided public scrutiny even by Oxford County's financial officers until now. If Wainwright was accused of literally nothing else besides that, that would be enough. This is a firearm that was reported stolen and had been identified by a lawful owner. Regardless, he directed that gun be sold as well. In two separate batches in June and September of 2021, the sheriff sold a total of 52 guns, so I'm guessing he's selling these for profit, which would mean he need to get a FFL and a license and all that stuff. But of course, these guys are supposedly above the law. The problem with that explanation is that without going through proper channels, there's no evidence that he actually spent it on equipment for the county. This is the kind of thing that goes through the county treasurer's office and so forth. You got to be careful, and you got to make sure that your rights and your right to keep and bear arms, if they take your firearm, which they're going to do, you are entitled to that gun. Now, there are other things in place where they have to jump through hoops and do all other kinds of things in order to actually get the gun sold or get back. It's still your property. Law enforcement and the government has an absolute disdain for your private property and wants you to be revoked of it at any turn, including firearms. Even if the gun was used, if it's a justified self-defense scenario, that person should have their gun back. You are stripping that person, especially in the state of Maine. Article 1, Section 16. Every citizen has the right to keep and bear arms, and this right shall never be questioned. Never be questioned. Which means this sheriff is violating the Constitution of the state of Maine. Blatantly violating it. Because he's anti-gun and he's looking to make some extra money on the side. Which, if you tried to do so, the Bidens would come after you and put you in jail and accuse you of being a gun dealer. But I guess because he has a badge, everything else is not. It's not as bad when they do it, right? It's okay when they do it.